Yep, I've been buying again. What is it this time? Well, if you just take a look over my shoulder here, you will see exactly what it is. We have the Missing Link C-01S Sentinel Prime, and we have the C-10 Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus came into me about 3 weeks ago. Yeah, be about 3 weeks ago, coming from Kapow Toys. And yeah, I've still not done anything with it. But I'm going to rectify that now. Well, momentarily, that is. And then the other one, the Sentinel Prime, that came into me... Oh, let me see now. What day are we on? Yes, we're on that day. Probably about 3-4 days ago, that one came into me. So I figured, yeah, I best do something with them because they're still sat there in the box, unopened, and I had been looking forward to Ultra Magnus greatly, but I was waiting for the right moment to come for me to do this video that I'm about to do. And then Sentinel Prime, I wasn't bothered about it, but then I had a little bit of spare cash, and I'd done a couple of eBay sales, and I thought, what the hell, why not? Because it'll fit nicely in with that kind of Diaclone kind of thing that I've got going off with the Missing Link. I already have Corden. I've got Delta Magnus coming. I couldn't think of his name then for a moment. And then hopefully further down the line with the Missing Link, they'll do some more Diaclone inspired ones. But anyway, I think it's now time to take a look at them, don't you? Sounds like a plan. Yes, I forgot to mention before we do go over there. I'm going to split it into two. Well, it's going to be one video, but it will be split into two distinct portions, if you will. First portion will be Ultra Magnus. The second portion will be Sentinel Prime. Still don't like calling him Sentinel Prime, but I'll get into that when we go over there. Right, I think that's all I wanted to say. I'm holding my pen the wrong way around. That's better. Yeah, let's get on with it. I'll drop the intro and then we'll head over there and see what they're all about. Before we start, I just wanted to show you this briefly. It's a quick comparison. So we've got the Missing Link version Ultra Magnus here at the bottom, and at the top here we've got the reissue Ultra Magnus from 2000. It was released as part of, as you can see from this gold sticker here, it was released as part of the celebrations for the 15th anniversary of the Transformers. It's got the same Scramble City branding there, and other than the artwork, as in the drawing of Ultra Magnus here and there, the boxes are very, very similar. They both have this yellow band down the side. They have all the usual Transformers logo and writing, even down to the Missing Link copying the picture here above of Ultra Magnus in his core robot mode with Silverbolt on the trailer. So yeah, I just wanted to do that before we started, because as you can see, there's not a lot of the big boxes, so there's not a lot of room to maneuver here. So I figured I'd get this out of the way with now, and then I can move on to actually taking a proper look at Missing Link Ultra Magnus. I'm going to start by looking around the box, keep this brief. As you've just seen in the brief little, what's the word I'm looking for? The,
Now, greetings, good citizens. The prologue. Now, it's cold tonight. Now,
the prologue. I sound like bloody Frankie, our daughter from Up Pompeii. The prologue. Anyway, from that bit, you saw how the boxes compare. Very, very similar in style and design, apart from the obvious different changes in artwork and some of the branding. Icons. There we go. Front window, we can see Missing Link Magnus with his Dianaut, and we can see the buggy. Is it Deerstalker? Is it they've called it? An absolutely stupid name, but anyway. And then end of the trailer section there, and this really, really nice artwork there of Ultra Magnus in a bit of an action pose. On the top of the box, we have Magnus in his robot mode and in his car carrier mode. Lots, big splash of text here, Scramble City logo. Round the bottom, we have very simplistic transformation sequence there. And then all the usual warning literature, writing, whatever. It's you know what it is. To the sides, if it'll get that, I'll get in focus. If I just hold it onto one side like that, it might do. So we've got, again, Magnus in a bit of an action pose in his car carrier mode. Whip it around to the other side. Same again. Think it's a slightly different pose, but the usual. And then on the back there, we have got this lovely box artwork. So where do I start with this? Tech specs here for Ultra Magnus, some more warnings, I'm sure, and contact numbers. We've got some different poses here, kind of like a repair bay, battle station, flight platform for Silverbolt. We've got the transformable buggy, Deerstalker, and then we've got this battle scene going off here. This will be from, I'm going to go for a punt here and say 86, because Magnus will have been released in 86, but this is not a piece of artwork that we would have seen here in the UK or wider Europe and also in the US. I will double check the date on this one, but I am pretty sure that it's 1986. It is part of what makes up the Scramble City, hence we've got Metroplex, Triptychon, and some of the combiner teams. Now whip the box back around to the front area, and then I think we'll close that out there for the box, and I'm going to get him opened, but I'm going to do that off camera. We'll get him opened and we'll take a look at the contents. Right, we've got all the contents out of the box. We have accessories, the cab stroke in a robot, the trailer, which then becomes the armour. We've got Deerstalker, and then we've got all these papery paraphernalia, pamphlet-y kind of things. Oh, and then we've got the Dianaut driver down the bottom there, if my hands aren't in the way. I think, I'm going to start with this paperworky stuff, get that out of the way. So first thing I want to note is I appear to have 2 collector cards. How bizarre. I've checked them both. They are both identical. There's no differences or changes on them. So all I can assume is that at the point when everything was being packaged up, they must have been stuck together and been shoved in the bag. So lucky me. So I have 2. Artwork's gorgeous. Love that. I love like the red grid background kind of thing going off as well. Anyway, okay. Collector cards. We have the tech spec decoder. Nothing really more I need to say on that. We have a sticker sheet, which, they feel like paper, but they are kind of a bit shiny and foily looking, but they're not foil, they're paper. And whilst I do appreciate their inclusion, they are completely and utterly redundant, because we have, you might be able to just see here, part of the what's the word I'm looking for? Part of the allure of the Missing Link line of figures is that what once would have been sticker detailing on the older figures is now actually painted and in some cases molded as well, which, like I said, makes these sticker sheets redundant. But I do appreciate their inclusion. It just kind of like finishes off and gives a little bit of authenticity to the set as a whole. Gives it that, you know, that nostalgic retro kind of feel. But yeah, they're there. They won't get used. But I'll go for the instructions first before I get to the catalogue. I'll fold these out because it looks like it's going to be there's going to be quite a lot of information on it. Yeah, there is. Right, okay, so let's call it side A. Gives us a rundown of where to bung certain accessories in vehicle mode, and then it gives you a rather simplistic breakdown of transformation into his core robot and then inserting him inside of the armor. Anyway, so that's side 1, and then on side 2 we have a little bit of a breakdown then on how to get him into a battle station mode. It doesn't. Oh, sorry, yeah, battle station and also the repair bay mode. Does it give any instruction onto the? No. No, there's nothing there about a launch bay, but it looks like there is a secondary base mode kind of thing going up here as well. So that's good. And then we've got transformation sequence for Deerstalker. We get a breakdown of contents of the box, and then we have a section here telling us where to put those stickers there. And then rub sign, tech spec decoder, and then the usual warning crap at the bottom there. Right, okay. Enough of that. And then the catalogue. I really do like and appreciate the catalogues being included. Again, it gives it that kind of retro nostalgic feel, kind of like back in the day. Interesting to call this volume 4. I'll have to have a look on the other ones at some point and see if they say volume 1, volume 2, etc., things like that. So we've got the 1986 Japanese back of box artwork there on the front. Let's fold it out. How does this fold out? Come on, it's fine. Oh, right, fold out like that, don't we? Okay, so this particular side, we've got animation color, Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper with RC, and then we've got the whatever recolor, I think it's the prototype version color RC. Cord and Sunstreaker, and we've got Optimus Prime there, and then Bumblebee and Cliff Jumper again. Then Optimus Prime again with the trailer, and then we've got Nemesis Prime at the end there. Over on the other side, Ultra Magnus, and then yeah, this bad boy that I said I was greatly looking forward to Ultra Magnus, but I think I'm even more greatly looking forward to Delta Magnus. That just looks pure sex, does that, doesn't it? Although they've put a bird Dianote with it, haven't they? Bloody girl. Don't want girl Dianotes. I'm joking, or am I? But yeah, no, it looks great, does that? I really do like that. Can't wait for that one. Right, okay. Don't need to linger on that too long. Let's put them away to one side. So we don't need those now anymore. And we're going to look at the accessories. Where to start? You know, so I'm going to start with the Dianote. Here he is. Look at that. If you've seen Jeff, you've seen Gary, you know what the Dianotes are all about. And I think I shall christen ye. We're going to call this chap, we're going to call him Colin. Yeah, that's good enough. We've got Jeff, Gary, and Colin. Yep, we like Colin. So we're going to need you again later on, Colin, so don't go too far away, sir. Right. Launchers. I noticed about these launchers, they have these little tabs that fold down like so. This is what I assume. So when you... No. So when you've got him in robot mode, the shoulder launchers are level. They're on like a level as opposed to them being offset like they were on the original toy. That is my assumption. We'll see if that checks out later on. There doesn't... Well, no, there isn't a spring mechanism in these. It's just basically this push forward and push back tab, which is very, very stiff. I'm just looking down the orifice now. No, there is no springs in there. I have a theory on this, and I think the reason why there is no springs in the firing mechanism of these is because Hasbro are probably going to want to market and sell this in the US, and we know what they're like with their toy laws about firing things. I do recall, I remember seeing Prime and Grimlock up for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I can't remember if the the droidy kind of thing that's in the piloted, whatever they call. I don't no idea what they call it, but the thing that's in the trailer of Prime that you can put the missiles in and fire. I can't remember if they have springs in them or not. Maybe they do. I don't know, but it's just a theory. I think maybe that's because Hasbro want to market this. Or it may not be. It may be just that they just couldn't be bothered. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, that's there. What I will do, though, is that I will bring in one of the... Well, I say the originals. This is from the 2000 reissue, the one that we saw in the prologue at the top of this video. So, how do they compare? To be fair, they're pretty much the same. They look to be the same dimensions. There's just a bit of more detailing and work gone on because they've done this hinged mechanism here. But other than that, they look pretty much alike for like. And again, apart from the firing mechanism there. One thing I have noticed as well, which I'll get to shortly, is regarding the missiles. But yeah, okay, it'll be interesting. I might try see if they fit on, the originals fit on the Missing Link version when I get to that point. Okay, put that back down there. Put that back down there. We don't need that. And put them away. We don't need them for now. We have a Matrix. Is that die cast or is it plastic? I think it might be plastic. It's a chromed plastic. Very silver with a blue middly bit. But very shiny. Looks very nice. That'll go where it needs to go when the time comes. We have his gun. Oh, sorry, just dropping it there. Which pretty much looks the same as his original. Which will bring in the one from the 2000 reissue. And yeah, pretty much the same. Different handle there. More rounded rather than the flat on the original there. I'm just looking. The new one, the Missing Link one, looks like it's molded from two pieces of plastic, and sandwiched together kind of thing. Where the original one here looks like it's just... Oh, no, it is. Yeah, it is two pieces. It just looks like the plastic weld just looks a lot tighter on the original than what it does on the new Missing Link version. But yeah, okay, that's the gun. Waist section. So we've got the standard, usual, traditional waist section. I don't need to bring out the other one because you know what they look like. So that's the one that we would have got with Ultra Magnus back in the day. Then we have this one here, which I'm going to have a guess. I think that's probably more in line or looks like what it would have had when it was a Diaclone, when it was Battle Convoy. Yeah, because Powered Convoy was what became Optimus Prime, then Battle Convoy is what became Ultra Magnus. So I'm thinking that's harkening back to the Diaclone version, which I'm sure will get used more for when the Delta Magnus is released. But yeah, they both look good, both molded right, and it looks like, yeah, they attach underneath there. So it looks like they both can attach. It just means that you'll probably have different seating settings for when you attach the cab to the trailer. Right, off then to one side. We have the chest armor piece, which has this nice moulded and painted detail at either side here. And for the first time, like the Diaclone version, we have wheels on the bottom. Which, yeah, it rolls on them. It probably needs, it's slightly textured as this surface, so probably will roll better on a smoother surface. But yeah, the original version, and I'll bring in from the reissue, doesn't have the wheels, although it does have the mouldings in there for the wheels. If I bring in just closely, you might be able to see. So the mouldings are there for the wheels. Let's have a look at them all at the front. Yeah, pretty much identical. The Missing Link version looks to be just a shade different blue than the reissue. This is a bit more paler, where this seems to be a bit more darker. But yeah, there is... I can't see any moulding changes or differences there. They both look identical. Yeah. Yeah. One thing I will note is there may be some of you that has, because I'm not comparing it to an original 80s Magnus, some of the 80s versions, these three little tubey protrusions here aren't on some of the 80s Ultra Magnuses that were released. It kind of like it's just smooth there, doesn't have these tubey protrusions. So you may find that if you have an original and you compare them together, you'll find that there as well. And then I'll just briefly say on the trailer, we have these like nodular parts here. Well, they aren't on some of the original G1 Magnuses as well. So it tends to be that if it hasn't got them on this, it won't have them on the trailer. But anyway, that's just an aside. That's just an aside. Head. Yes, very nice, like that. Moulded nicely, painted very nicely. And we have two nipples on top of the antenna, which is, again, another change and variation from the 2000 reissue. Looking at these side by side, this is a completely new mold, which I'm pretty sure. Well, I think it all is. The Takara's really done the work here on this one, and they've gone back to the drawing board and they've just basically designed and molded them from scratch. So there's no. Well, I want to say there's no shared parts with the originals. Obviously, I think the wheels and the tires are going to be shared, but by the looks of it, they've really done well with these. What gives it away with the helmet is when you turn it over. So on the reissue, it's just basically kind of a void semicircular square thing, where on the Missing Link, it's actually moulded in the shape of the head of the inner robot, which I like. It looks good. However, I think I might have a little bit concerned there as well, whether or not it's going to rub or scratch any of the paint on the core robot's head or not. And also, when I flip it upside down to look, this is... I think this is moulded... No, it is moulded from two pieces of plastic, but it's plastic welded, where this... again is two, but then we've got the antenna that actually separate as well, so everything's just sandwiched together. So yeah, it's great molding. Again, there's a slight coloured variance in the plastic used. What I will note as well is, just get rid of that original Magnus head, the plastic that's being used for the Missing Link feels to be a better grade. I mean, the plastic used for the reissue is good, but this feels to be more of a solid plastic as well. It's obviously technology's moved on since 2000 with that reissue, and it's obviously moved on a hell of a lot since 1986, some 40 years ago. But yeah, my impression is that they've used a different type of plastic. Right, I'm going to talk about the missiles, which are all still on the sprue. So if I bring in one of the ones from the reissue, at a glance, they pretty much look the same. Don't appear to have much difference. These are slightly redder and glossier than the original. But, he said, let's bring a launcher in each back from the original. So we've got the new launcher and the original launcher. And as no surprise, as no surprise, he said, why is that not going in? There we go. The missile goes into the launcher like so, and then it fires out. So, old missile, new launcher, it won't go in. It won't go in. It's too big. It won't go in. So you can't use your original missiles with the new missing link. So that means that I'm going to have to cut 2 missiles off this sprue, which I didn't want to do. Didn't want to do it. I've not done it with any of the other missing links. No, I've not. I didn't do it with Prime, and I didn't do it with Corden or with Sunstreaker. So I'm a bit loath to do it. However, if I'm going to display him and get him out and take some nice photos, it would be remiss of me not to have him as he should look. And I don't particularly want to start mucking about with some of the originals, filing them down and etc. to get them to fit in there. So, with that said, I'm going to bring in some tools of the trade. I'm going to snip a couple off. So what I'm going to do now is, they should then now just insert nicely into there. Like so. So to fire, this is probably where I should have read the instructions. It's not. It doesn't look like the fire at all. So why bother having that on the top if it's not going to push it out as you pull it down? No, nothing. Right, okay. I'll bring the other launcher in. That's interesting. There we go. No, it doesn't. No, it's not. It's just... Right, okay then. But you get the impression. So we've got the missiles in the launcher. I'll just take one out a minute. Let me just make sure that they are definitely... No, these are bigger. So the Missing Link missiles are actually bigger. They're a bit fatter. Although the tip there is smaller, so that's why it wouldn't go in the new launcher. But yeah, they are actually bigger. They're a bit chunkier. Okay, that's enough talk of the missiles and launchers. Let's pop that back in there. Get rid of them. Put them down there. Deerstalker. What a name. I mean, what fucking possessed them? Yeah, that was a thought rather than seeing. But I'm sure you're thinking it as well. Yeah, Deerstalker. What a name. I'm going to have to see if I can come up with a headcanon alternative name for him. I'm not going to transform him just yet. I'll get to that later on. It was just really just going through these accessories. Yeah, does what it needs to do. I can't really speak intellectually about this because this is the first time that I've had this in my hand. I've never had one of the original Diaclones in my hand. I've seen them in books and I've seen photos of them, so I know how they work, but with never having that on-hands experience, yeah, there's nothing much really for me to say other than this is Deerstalker, a buggy of sorts which doesn't roll because the wheels don't get the clearance to roll. Oh, now it does. There must have been something catching there. Anyway, dear Stalker. Right, so that's the accessories done and out of the way with. We've looked at those. It's the vehicle mode now, I suppose. Cab, which is just effectively a white prime, and then the trailer is what then makes your Ultra Magnus outer armour. Yep, it's a white prime, but there's quite a few differences on it, as we know, because if you've got the Missing Link Optimus Prime, you will know how the articulation has been changed and the engineering improvements that have been made on it since the original from back in 1984. What I'll do is I will bring in the cab from the reissue, and I'll just move the trailer out of the way for now. So if you get them side by side like that, yeah, pretty much the same size, same proportions and dimensions. Obviously we've got the differences of the headlights at the front, but that's because the changes of the transformation for the Missing Link version. The windows look to be... No, the windows on this is just a little bit smoky. This seems to be more of a tinted kind of look, where this looks more like a smoke look. To the side, I'll do it that way. Same wheels, same tyres, same detailing. The thing about the reissue that I've not applied any of the stickers to the reissue, so it will look a bit bare compared next to the Missing Link version. But yeah, all looks pretty much the same underneath. Yep. Die-cast feet. Nice chrome detailing. These are moulded slightly. The feet are moulded differently on the Missing Link. Right, yeah? No? Okay. Back here you go, and we'll transform him into his robot mode. There he is, in his robot mode. Yeah, I like that. I love the detailing that they've given on it. I know it's just what we'd have if the stickers were on there, but with it being moulded in there and painted, it just makes it stand out so much more. The Autobot logos on the shoulders are, yeah, they're painted or tampoed on, if you will. The silver stripe across the cab and arm sections is also painted on. The forearms, this detailing is moulded and then painted. Same with the knees. The knees, it's all moulded and painted. Even the toes, the ends of the feet, it's moulded and painted as well. And then the yellow for the indicator lights is also painted on the bumper there. Nice detailing on the face. Got the blue crest, blue mouth plate, and red eyes. And then just the chrome just stands out really nice as well. On the back, very plain. Nothing going off around the back. I'll bring the original back in. But there we go. There they are side by side. And yeah, they look great. They look great side by side. Not that major differences with them, but just scratch under the surface, and the engineering is so much improved and better on this than what it is on the other. But this is still a classic, and and for that it will always have that status. The face paint is identical. It's a bit darker on this one, but yeah, that's nice. I like that. We'll get the matrix. We'll put the matrix inside his chest, like so. Oh, we'll get rid of the original out of the way. Don't need that now. And there we go. Matrix in situ. Close his chest up. We'll get his gun. His gun in his hand. And that's it. He's good to go. I've got it the wrong way around. That's the way it goes when he's in his white cab mode. Like that. Yep, we do like that. But I'm not going to get into the posing of it. If you've got Missing Link Prime, or if you've watched any other videos or you've experience of other Missing Link figures, you know where I'm coming from on the articulation, so I don't need to go through it again and show you. I didn't want this to be a full breakdown or review. It was just a case of me looking at it, waffling on, and seeing what it looks like against the original. But yeah, nice. We like it. Lovely. Let's pop into one side. So we're going to talk about the trailer now. And here it is. Here's the trailer. First thing I noticed about this, it's heavy. It's a lot heavier than the original. And I'll bring that in as we speak. Oh, it's just tabs have come undone at the bottom there. So what can we say? So yeah, darker plastic than the original. There seems to be, I'm just quickly looking over now, there seems to be the same amount of detailing. They've not gone for anything extra. What they've done is, by the looks of it, what was there already, they've just kind of accentuated a bit, made it just a bit more prominent, if you will. We've got this here, this detailing here on the Missing Link, which isn't on the original. And I'm just trying to think if there was a sticker for that on the original. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Turn them to the back. Looking at them from the back there. And right then, so these are different. These are stickers here. This is all painted and molded on, but there's a difference in colour. These are kind of a teal green, where this is a blue and yellow. And we've got the detailing here, which I'm going to assume is the light cluster. But other than that, all the other detailing is there on both of them. Top. Yep, that's the same. The joints, the elbow joints are a little tighter. There's no gaps there on the new one. We've got some pins going on here, but that'll be for to allow the shoulders to swing out. And then underneath, this is where the biggest changes are. So underneath we've got very plain on the original, and then on the new Missing Link version we've got all this bump and paraphernalia going off that is there to hold the white cab section in place when it's in the combined mode. Basically because on the original that was done by these two pegs here slotting into the holes where the fists go, and the wheel protrusions would slide into these frames here, which they've kept the protrusions there for the wheels, but because of the way that this has been remolded and done, they've done away with this, and also because of the folding fists that the white cab does, so they've done away with that. And then we've got all this mechanism here that will hold the cabin, which I can't remember who did it. I'm pretty sure I saw something. It was either on Facebook or Instagram, may have been last week, and someone was talking about there'd been reports of paint chipping or paint scuffing when putting the white cab into the trailer section here. So I'm warning you now, I don't think I'm not going to combine it, because I want to look into that a bit more before I do that, because I don't want to damage or scratch anything on it. I know I would have liked to have done it, but I just want to make sure. If you want to see how the white prime cab looks combined, then there are plenty of the videos out there that have done that, so you can watch that. But for me, at this moment in time, I'm not going to risk it. I don't want to risk it. Which, if it's true, and if it is a case of that, then I've got to say it's a bit disappointing that we've got a transformer that's going to damage itself undertaking its intended functions, and it's a shame, is that. Anyway, right, get rid of the original trailer, put that down there, and we'll see about getting this transformed, if you will. Rotate the fists around. Do these fists come off? Oh, they do, yeah. Now I know we've got articulated fingers on here. Well, finger. That one pull out as well. Yeah, it does. So the index finger is individually hinged, and then the rest of them are, what's the term? Piano fingers, isn't it? They're called piano fingers. So yeah, it does. They do. The fingers do articulate as much as what you could call it articulation. So from what I can see outwardly, then we've got the ratchet joints that bring the arms out like that, and then they rotate all the way around like so. Magnus has always had swivels there on the arms, and then the bending elbow joint. What have I just... Oh! Has it got an ab crunch? Is that an ab crunch? I think it might be. Yes, it is. Oh, look at that. So we've got a bit of an ab crunch going off there. How effective that's going to be once the white cab is in there, I don't know. But when it's not, that's quite effective, is that? That's pretty cool. Now I've seen on some photos that pulls down. So this pulls down, which allows you to get into the chest area to swap the matrix out. So that just tabs back in there. I know we've got rockers on the feet like that. Right, how do we separate the legs? Right, separating the legs. Maybe I have to buy a bottle of wine and some flowers. No. The ginger... right, okay, so we've got a couple of tabs there. And there's a tab at the top. Yeah, so if you just see that little tab there. That. So we get... Yeah, I think that's as far as we get. Is that as far as we get? I don't want to break anything. Oh, right, no. Yes, I think if... Oh, the legs twist as well. So we've got a bit of a spread and a twist, like so. If I can hinge the feet down like that, yeah, we've got a bit of a twist and spread. Right then, I think I recall seeing, if you very carefully, you can negotiate around that little tab thing there, and you can bring them out. Whether or not this is an intended feature or not, I don't know. But yeah, right, so we can get them out further. But in doing so, I think you're going to compromise the inner robot, because I think the legs are just going to dangle down like so. So I can't see me, other than just showing you now, I can't see me doing that. I think I'll just stick with the minimal leg spread. I'll just pop that back. Oh, there we go. But hang on. In all my excitement of this awesomeness that's going up here, I forgot to mention this. He has knee joints. I went through all the other bits of articulation that he had, but I forgot to point that out. You need to disconnect the tab here from the upper leg to facilitate the knee joint. But yes, it does have them on both sides. Rotate his feet out a bit. Like that. Okay. Chest section. Let's put that chest section on. Because I'm assuming that's just, yeah, that's just going to clip in like normal. Let's get the waist section. I'm going to go through the Transformer one rather than the Diaclone one. There we go. Is that on? Yep, that's on. Launchers. I'll go for the launchers. And then, yeah, that rotates round, and then that will pop on there. So then it brings them kind of level. Yeah, that's... And then we've got the head, which would go on like so. I'm going to bring the white cab prime back in, pop him there. I suppose I could have him as though he's getting ready to suit up, I suppose. Will that sufficiently hold that? Yeah, it'll hold that like that. Right. Yeah. No. It was so close. So close. No, yeah. I'll do that for a photo. I'm not arsing about with it now. Taking up more time than we need to. But you get the picture. You get the picture. So oh, the Dionaut. Bring the Dionaut in. Just pop him next to the helmet there. And yeah, I like that's a nice. I like that. Yeah, that's nice. That's going to make a good photo. Is that? I look forward to doing the photos after I've done this this video-y bit. With regards to the Dionaut, I think it's time now to bring back in Deerstalker. And I'll take that off Magnus's chest as well, because we've got the Dionaut, we have some features from the original Diaclone which can be utilised. Now we can go with the Dionaut in this little, I don't know what to call it, kind of like a ski kind of hover kind of thing, whatever. And he goes in like that. So that looks, yeah, I like that. And then we can also, because we've got that slit in the front of Magnus's forehead crest. Oh, go back in there. That can go on there like that, as though it's got like a gun turret thing going off. Which, yeah, that looks pretty cool. And I'm assuming, because of the peg sizes, that can go in there. Or would it be better going the other way? No, I think we're going to go that way, because I don't think there'll be the clearance for the Dionaut if I have it that way. yeah, so we've got, let's get rid of that. So we've got that like that, we've got the Dynart in there. Will it have the clearance if I put it the other way? Just. No, I don't think it's meant to be like that. I think it's meant to be that way. But yeah, it's all right. I've nothing. The buggy, I don't mind. I don't mind the buggy. It's in and of itself. It's the name. It's absolutely stupid. No idea what they were thinking. Right, let's get this transformed. There we go. That's Deerstalker. You know, I like him. I like the bugger. Was that? Yeah, they tab into there. But if you don't want to use the knee joints, there's no ankle tilts or anything like that. Do those tubes? No, those tubes are moulded to the side of his head to go back like that. But right, am I missing something here? So when you get his legs splayed, he leans back. Yeah, he leans back. So really, to have him stood up straight, you need to have the legs together like that. That's a shame. That's a pity. It's a shame there's no fold-down piece to support at the back there. You know, for when you do have the legs splayed out like that. Unless, again, I'm missing something on the instructions because I've not read through the instructions. So when I come to do the photos, if there is anything I've missed, I will address it there, and you'll see in the photos when I do some posing shots. The gun, I'm assuming he can use Magnus's gun. Yep, he can. It's a tight fit. It goes in there like so. Deerstalker. Right then. I think we'll bring everything else back in, and then I think I'm going to call it a day with Ultra Magnus. Right there, like so. The helmet and the Dynart. Colin. It's Colin, isn't it? And that's yeah. I think we'll leave it at that. If I may interject, I am going to stop myself there because we're nearly at an hour. Who'd have thought I could speak about Ultra Magnus for an hour? The power of waffle. We like the waffle. Well, not always, but most of the time we like the waffle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it a day for this video. I'm going to close it out. And if you'd like to see what I have to say about Sentinel Prime, come back next week, because I'll finish off the Sentinel Prime video and I'll get that ready, and like I say, you come back next week. But for this week, that's it. I'm going to leave it at that. So from me and from Missing Link Ultra Magnus there, I suppose it's bye for now. Yeah, I think it is. Unless, oh, yes, I'd forgot my final thoughts for Ultra Magnus. How silly of me. What do I think of him? I like him. I like him a lot. Yes, I'm very happy with that. I'm glad that I picked this one up, and it's made me be more excited for the incoming Delta Magnus, which I believe is coming in June, so it's not long to wait. There's so much going off with it. I mean, I was a big fan of Missing Link Optimus Prime, or Convoy, and when I saw some of the first images coming through of what they were doing with Ultra Magnus and some of the articulation that was going to be involved with it, I was like, there was giddiness. There was some giddiness. And now having it in hand and being able to mess about with it, yeah, I just nothing bad to say about it. I am still hesitant. I still haven't put the inner robot inside the trailer section, the armor section. I'm really hesitant of that because I just don't want to damage it. I've seen a couple of posts over social media where people have removed parts on the inside, like on the rear inside of the trailer section. I've also heard people about putting some tape over to stop this, because basically what's doing it, without starting to go into waffle again, this upper section here behind the blue chest piece, that's die cast. So when you slide the inner cab in, there's like a ledge on the inside, and it's that ledge that's basically scuffing and scraping the chrome on the top of the bumper section here, and I don't want to do that. So there is a clip underneath. That's a bit of a cupping action going off there. There's a clip underneath that some people have been removing, and then, like I say, I've heard of people putting a bit of tape over that die-cast ledge kind of thing that is to kind of like sandwich it in, so to speak. So I'm going to take a look at that further myself and see what to do. Options for me at this point are, I could get round that by just basically picking up a junker, getting a junker Optimus Prime white cab, and basically just take the legs off, so it's just the upper part, the upper torso part, and put that in the back, and I'm sure that would suffice and do the job it needs to do. However, that said, I kind of get the impression, or get the feeling in my big toe, the right one, not the left one, that I think some third-party company is probably going to come along and do an insert section for the trailer, so then you can have both out on display. That's my gut feeling. My right big toe feeling. That's the feeling I'm getting, because they did it with the Fantastic Model Ma, the masterpiece version of it. So yeah, I think that's where it's probably going to head. So I might hold off for the moment, but if I do happen upon a junker, I might still pick it up anyway, and then I can just do what I need to do, because it's going to be a bit, when I come to do some photos, it's going to be a little bit restrictive, because I'm not going to be able to. So I don't know. I honestly am undecided at this moment. The thing I am definitely deciding is that I just don't want to damage it. And when I said a moment ago about the bad, I've nothing bad to say. It's not something bad I'm saying about it, but like I said in the main video that you've just seen, it is a pity that the normal function of it is causing damage. I won't say, I'm not going to badmouth Takara on that one. It may have been just an oversight. Like I've just said, personally I think it's because they've gone with die-cast for that top section, and it's that. I think if it was plastic against the chroming, I don't think it'd be an issue. But anyway, right, okay, that's it, done now. Thanks for watching, appreciate it as ever. If you've enjoyed it, do all the stuff that people ask you to do, and yeah, I will see you hopefully next week for part 2, the second portion of this look at with Sentinel Prime. Yeah, time to go. Thanks, and bye for now.
Vault's a fucking icon.